Hello, everybody. I'm Nancy Hauge. I'm the Chief Human Resources Officer at Automation Anywhere. And today I am joined by one of the best thinkers of human resources and a dear old friend of mine, Patty McCord. Patty is the former Chief Human Resources Officer at Netflix, and more recently, the author of a book called Powerful. I think it's subtitled Building a Culture of Freedom and Responsibility. And so, Patty, I'm so delighted to spend this time with you.
Me too. It's great that we find an excuse every couple of years or so, isn't it?
I was talking to another CHRO in the Valley last week, and she said, I spent 2 years trying to convince my management team to loosen up, work from home. COVID did it in 6 weeks. She said, and suddenly now it's like, how do we make this work? And, and how are we going to make certain that people continue to thrive and feel they're connected, and all the things that we thought we were grappling with when we were in a combined space.
Yeah, and what's fascinating to me is all the rules and procedures and policies that we call best practices. Right, that we've all been doing forever because everybody else does.
And now they're like, bye.
Well, it's not relevant.
No, not at all.
Right. And that we have to, you said that the byline of my book is a culture of freedom and responsibility. And I've been spending, years talking about that as if it's like this North Star.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden we're assuming that people are going to get their work done.
Yeah.
We're not walking by checking up on them, and nobody's paying attention to their time. We're now starting to really realize in real time that it's not about, the time you spend, it's about the output. And I think, I think there's a real opportunity for us to actively pay attention as we're doing this to what do we miss about being in person? What's less productive when we're not in the same room together?
Right.
What doesn't matter at all? Right. And to your point, I think that for the people that are really in the saddle is, okay, well, there's so many great things about the New World Order, but what might really suck?
Precisely. Well, yesterday our management team was talking about, we talk about people's physical health. We've talked about their emotional well-being. Now we're starting into what about their intellectual health? Are they being stimulated enough? Because it's sometimes those walking by someone in the office and something clicks and you have a conversation that creates some innovation or creativity in your brain.
Yeah.
They're not getting that. And it's hard to operationalize it in this medium. It's hard to structure it because it's such an unstructured organic thing.
I think that even that simple thing about, when I was on the call yesterday with a bunch of CEOs, I was talking to them about behaviors that how you create your culture is the behaviors that you have, right?
Yes.
And one of the things I was talking to them about was, if you don't show up on time and the people on your executive staff don't show up on time, the subliminal message that you say to everybody by just the physical act of doing that is, it's okay to be late.
Right.
Right. What I'm doing is more important than your time. Right. And so does that count as a Zoom meeting, right? Does it count in work output? How do we start even those you and I talked the other day about how employees walk in the door.
Yes.
People walk in the door wanting to do a good job. And then you said, well, they don't walk in the door anymore. There's no doors, right?
There's no there. That's right.
Yeah.
Right. I know. I think that one of the things that, over the course of the last 2 years since I've been working at Automation Anywhere, which, is about automating work, we've talked a lot. I think I mentioned this to the other day. I was fascinated by Mihir, our CEO's question to me when I was joining, which said, what was the role of human resources when 30% of the workforce wasn't human? And that was intriguing and boy, itching my brain. And I've been working on it for 2 years. And then this occurs and I think, well, what's the role of human resources when people are not configured as they had been in the past? But and suddenly, I find my team is far more involved in proactive care than they are in reacting to the kinds of issues that were being brought to them in the past.
Yeah.
They're much more proactive about human care at this point.
Yeah. And for me, my message is very much about what you do in human resources that's really critical is you're inside the business deeply enough so that you can strategically look 6 months to a year out and say, who are we going to be? What kind of team are we going to need to have? What does success look like? How do we articulate those things? And my message is work backwards from that to the team that you have.